In our second try, finally, we managed to get a hold of Leah. She had a little technical issue, so now we are going to have our conversation. That will last around 20 minutes because then I'll have a coaching session to make. We are starting a bit late, but again, I shared my story with you meanwhile, and now in a minute, I'm going to invite our dear Leah and speak a bit about entrepreneurship. So, Leah, if you're ready, I'm more than happy to invite you to our chat. All right, let's make in 1 minute. Dum 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 dum. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, how are
Wait,
you?
yeah, I'm good. It's good to see you
Yes,
all. What about you?
good to see you too. Yeah, it's amazing. Awesome. Well, good to be here with you today. I'm sorry we have a little technical issue, but we're back and we're live now. So,
That's okay. These things happen. Don't worry. It's better late than never, right?
yeah, you know what? And that's the thing that I have learned about entrepreneurship and about life in general is that life happens. And so, we gotta impromptu and improvise and do what we can, do the best of
Yeah.
what we can, right?
Well, I'm glad this has happened before it was too late, so that was good. So, Leah,
Yeah.
welcome once again. And we have met
Thank
with you
you.
rather recently. I have met with Leah on a a seminar that we have attended together. It wasn't a live seminar, but it was a series of webinars by a very famous coach, Marissa Peer, and it was on abundancy. So we can also maybe discuss a
Exactly.
bit about that. But before we start everything, could you please tell us a bit about yourself, your story? Where are you from? What do you do? Where do you live right now? Just to have a little context about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say my story in 30 seconds. So I am originally from Vietnam, and I've lived in Canada for the last 9 years now. And I've dabbled myself in several different entrepreneurship venture out there. From e-commerce, network marketing, to Airbnb management. I've tried quite a few different things, and now I've set myself on trading crypto and forex. Yeah, and also do affiliate marketing. So I help people to get started in trading forex and crypto. So yeah, if you are, looking to potentially get into this market, feel free to shoot me a DM and send me a message, and we'll talk and we'll see if we can potentially work together. Um, but that is who I am, and I'm committed to this venture, and this is where I will build my wealth. So yeah, what about you as a person, that so that
well,
my
well,
audience know who you are.
well, yeah, that's actually how we have crossed paths, right? Because I'm also an entrepreneur and
Exactly.
I work as an international trainer. As you know, I'm a consultant and I do 10 different things like you. I also hustle a lot. I'm also interested in cryptocurrency in a way, so I might DM you for more, to
Awesome.
see what we can potentially do. But basically, I'm trying to be a global brand on what I do when it comes to speaking, training, and coaching, especially on topics like public speaking, time management, project management, productivity. Now I'm very much
Awesome.
focusing on the Turkish market because it's easier for me to start there. But soon enough, I'll start working on being a global brand. And you said you have been living in
Mm.
Canada since the last 9 years, right?
Yes, that's right.
And what has brought you to that country? If it's not private, would you like to share us
Oh yeah,
a bit?
totally. I'm an open book, that's for sure.
All right,
So
okay, good.
yeah, I actually want to move to the States, and I still do. But 9 years ago, it was a little bit more difficult for me as a Vietnamese to move to the States directly. So that's why I moved
Okay.
to Canada. Yeah, and now I'm married. My husband and I want to move to the States within the next few years or so. So like Miami, Florida, or
Mm.
Texas. That's where we want to be eventually.
All right.
And
Is your husband Canadian? I presume he's Canadian, right?
he is, yeah, he is. He's Canadian. He's half Greek.
Really?
So yeah, yeah. So we're. I haven't been to Greece, but I would love to go. Yeah.
It's a beautiful country. I love Greece.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I actually have Greek and Bulgarian origins as well. Like a lot of people in Turkey on the west side, they do have Greek and Bulgarian origins. So we might be relatives
Really?
with your husband.
Wow, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. So I
All
actually
right,
want to
and
ask you,
tell me.
yeah, you've got 7 books, right? Which is incredible.
I've
They're
got 7 published books. That's an important detail.
Yeah, and the titles are all in Turkish, so I don't understand. So would you mind telling me what the titles are
Yeah, this is
and what they're all about?
yeah, this is my first book actually. That was published in 2016. Yes, it is in Turkish, but I plan to get them translated. But I
Mm,
I have to do more than translating them because it was also written in a cultural in a way that Turkish people would understand culturally. There are a lot of Turkish examples
I
there.
see.
But basically, my books are self-help books. Self-help books. One is about my story as an entrepreneur. One is a travel memoir. One is about learning English, like how I learn English and how my tips on this. One is on crowdfunding because I have crowdfunded all my books basically. One is on public
Awesome.
speaking. The one here is actually on public speaking. Wait, I don't have my photo in every book. This is just a coincidence. I have this one, my cartoon,
Right.
and this one. This is a real photo of mine actually because this is
Awesome.
I'm speaking in front of the public there. And I have 2 children's books actually. I didn't draw
Oh,
it myself, but I have written it with my cousin. And now I'm having my second travel book actually. So it's mostly about my experiences, and I liked writing. And at some point, it became more systematical. So it was relatively easier for me to write books. What about you? Do you plan to write any books in your future, or do you have any published
absolutely.
books?
I have not yet, but I definitely would want to publish books, and I would definitely have to seek your help when the time comes. You know,
Definitely,
and
always there for you.
yeah, for sure. I would also want to do books on personal development, um, because I love personal development books personally, and I remember the first time that I start reading personal development books, and when I start getting into them, and it really changed me and who I am and my mindset. Um, and yeah, honestly, like before that, I was just, it's almost like I was without hope. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing in life, but starting to read personal development book, and I just realized that I have so much more potential than I thought, and I could do so much more in my life than I thought I could. So it has a way of almost like giving back. I want to also, um, you know, write books and help other
Mm,
people who might not have realized yet that they have so much potential. I want to write books and help them understand, and I want my whole life and my whole um, journey to be about it as well. I want to show people that anything is possible. You can do anything if you put your mind to it, and and that you can too, whoever you are, because I'm just a normal human being, and we all are. But if I can accomplish something, then it's absolutely possible for anybody as well.
exactly. And my analogy that I give always, like we're all like glasses, and we have to fill ourselves up to be able to spill. And that spill can be different depending on person to person. It can be a book, it can be a
Mm-hmm.
speech, it can be work, it can be consultancy, it can be all of these things combined. So first we have to fill ourselves, fill that glass, and the things that spill afterwards will be the things that we're going to produce later. So I really love that thing
Right.
about you investing in yourself by reading and by researching. And if I might ask you, do you have a favorite or a few favorite personal development books that are really like your bedside books that you really love and you would like to suggest to other people who might potentially benefit from it?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot, but I would say some of my favorite are John Maxwell books
Hmm.
on the subject of leadership, and they are
Yeah,
very simple to understand, but at the same time,
yeah,
his whole um his whole belief also is that simple is the best, because then everybody can understand it and can apply. And it has helped me a ton. Who else is out there? I also love the book, The Compound Effect. Um, I can't remember the author's name right now, but I love the book. It's one of the first books on personal development that I've read as well. Also, Tim Ferriss. Tim
Mm.
Ferriss has done a lot of experiment on human, so his books are also incredible. What about you, Preston? What are some of your favorites?
I do have a few, like Dale Carnegie books I enjoy. I also
Oh
like,
yeah.
I haven't read any John Maxwell books, but I watched a lot of his videos. Again, same with Tony Robbins. I like
Yeah.
Simon Sinek's Start With Why when it comes to personal development. How to Make Friends and Influence People is a good
Right.
self-help book. So the common names
Awesome.
basically, but I also like memoirs and biographies from people. That is kind of like a self-help for me. So because there they don't give suggestions, but
Mm.
they say how they did things, and that's generally more relatable for me. So I also like doing
Oh,
that. Yeah. And actually, right
awesome.
now I'm writing a book on productivity in English, so that will be my first book in English. So
Oh,
fingers
nice.
crossed.
What is
Yeah.
its title?
It's I plan to make it being a productivity guru, and there is a like little bottom title without compromising your well-being or while maintaining your well-being. To
Wow.
basically, the message would be it's important to be productive, but it's equally important to take care of yourself and not to burn yourself out. So this book is for might will be for people who want to be productive, but also will be for people who are very productive but might need to balance things up a bit. So
That's me. That's
yeah.
me. So give me a few tips on that then. How do you do that?
Well, I'm not saying that I do that 100%, but I'm really trying to understand the value of doing nothing every now and then. That's very important to keep us running in the long term.
Mm,
So that's one thing. Investing in yourself, taking some me times, putting yourself as a priority. It doesn't mean being like selfish and not taking care of anyone, especially in your case, like with being a mom, being a dad, there are different dynamics, but always putting up yourself first, or better to say, putting prioritizing your happiness so you can make other people happy as well. Doing the things that you like, having hobbies, not only revolving your life around work, and more importantly,
mm,
not seeing work as the sole reason of your existence. So this
right.
and similar things, they do help people to be more in the balance. And I have witnessed with myself and with a lot of people that this does help people going better in the long term, because the other
Yes.
all the time being trying to be motivated and producing thing, you do run out of fuel at some point, but like this you go consistently. So maybe it's not like this, but you don't crash as well. You go consistently, but for the rest of your life. Also, I speak about the importance of building systems and delegating things and having good teams, because you don't have to do everything by yourself. So these are the
Mm.
basic ideas around the book.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have definitely have to pick up the book. That's for sure because I need it. But it's so true, it's so true that especially with people who are very ambitious, and I'm sure you, like you said, you're not, completely perfect at this, but we're still working on it every day, right? But especially for people who are ambitious, it's hard to be able to say, okay, slow down and do nothing, but it is very important. It's important. And I remember this saying from John Maxwell, actually. He said, um, uh, pause allows growth to catch up to you. So when you pause and reflect, you allow all that work to reflect on you. So definitely true.
Definitely, to digest it a bit, to internalize it a bit, to reflect it. Like one of the analogies that I give, like imagine that you're a commander in a battlefield, like a general, because we are generals of our life, so we decide where to go, right? And imagine
Yeah.
that you're always in the middle of the battlefield, like with your sword fighting off soldiers. And even if you're doing an amazing job that moment, like fighting off a lot of soldiers, you have to, as the commander, step back and maybe go up on a hill and see the battlefield and see what you can change and what strategies to use. Because if you're always in the middle of something, it's impossible to see things from an outside perspective. So
Yeah, exactly.
you're busy doing the short term things that bring short term benefits, but sometimes it will save you a lot of time and effort to look at things from a wider perspective and if a bit out of the box maybe, and
Mm,
set up new strategies to see what's working for you, what's not working for you, what would you like to
mm,
carry on, what you would like to change in your life. So yeah, pausing every now and then and looking at things from a third perspective, it's is essential. And a lot of people don't do that, unfortunately. And most of all, they're harming themselves because that's not
Yeah.
sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a story, kind of like an analogy on this guy with an axe. So he chopped down trees, and at first he started off with the axe being very sharp, and he starts chopping down trees, and he would chop all of them very fast. It would go very quickly, but he didn't stop to sharpen his axe, and he can only go so far until the axe becomes so dull that he couldn't, and he keep going at it, but it becomes so dull that it's just more tiring for him to do it,
Yeah.
right? So I remember that story whenever I think about that. And it's a good analogy,
It,
it's a good story.
it is a very good analogy. Like I also know that story. I use it a lot in my seminars, and I know it in the way
Great.
where one guy is trying to chop off a tree with a numbax, and another passerby comes and looks at the guy and sees that what he's doing is basically pointless. And he asks him, like, why don't you stop for a second and sharpen your axe? And the guy, like,
Yeah.
angrily sweating, trying to chop down the tree, shouts or angrily says, I don't have the time for it. It's like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's a good analogy for a lot of lives, actually. So,
Right. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Like it's and we say it too, but sometimes we're still guilty of doing it, right? I'm not sure about you, but I am certainly guilty of doing it sometimes still. And I would go at it too hard and forget, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of things that I would love to talk with you. So we have to do this a second time, but soon enough we have to close because I have a coaching session coming up. But before we
Yeah.
finalize, and let's yeah, say that we will do this at some point another time with a maybe bigger time frame. But
Absolutely.
do you have anything that you would like to add or say before we slowly bring this to an end, Leah?
Yeah, I would say one more time that I am a trader, I'm an investor, and I also mentor to help people to get into this space of Forex and crypto. And I truly believe that the way that I've started doing this and helping people to get on board with this is the easiest, best way and the most cost-effective way to start investing and trading. So anybody is watching, feel free to DM me and let me know if you're interested. And also, I'm really looking forward to seeing your books in English, and I would definitely be one of the first people to grab the book on productivity.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And yeah, for the people who follow me, definitely follow Leah. She's an inspirational woman. She also shares a lot of valuable information on Instagram. And if you're interested in potential collaboration or cooperation, as she suggested, you can send a direct message to her. So once again, Leah, it's always a pleasure to see you. I've known you for a little time, but I feel that we can do a lot of things together. So I hope that will be the case.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time. I know it's very, very early in Vancouver, so I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm glad that we were able to do this, even though, despite of the hiccup. So,
With a slight delay, but it's okay. These things happen. So I really appreciate it.
yeah,
Send my greetings to your family and take good care of yourself. All right?
yeah. Thank you, you too. And we'll talk soon. Goodbye now.
Take care, Leah. Bye bye.